Yeah, after like 15 minutes, I'm gonna be like, all right, well, it's time to wrap this up. My
Yeah.
butt is tired. My legs are asleep, and I probably won't be able to stand up for another 5 minutes.
We should
So,
just cut in right there from my butt is tired.
my butt is tired. That's fair. We can do that.
All right.
Hey, hey, Matt Batson, how you? You're sounding rough today, man. How you doing?
Uh, I have hepatitis. Me and Kid Rock, we got something in common now.
Does he for sure have hepatitis? Are you
I don't
are
know.
you slandering the pride of Detroit?
I've heard enough Kid Rock hepatitis jokes to assume that he probably has had hepatitis at one point or another.
That's probably a pretty good assessment of that situation. Although there are many kinds of hepatitis, there's the whole alphabet worth. So I
Oh,
wonder
of course.
which letters he has in his collection. It's like the alphabet soup. You see what you can spell with the letters that you collect.
We should when this podcast gets big and famous, we'll have Kid Rock to come on to talk about a game that he reviewed, and we can ask him that.
We could be like, oh hey, Mr. Rock, would you come talk about uh what kind of game do you think Kid Rock would play?
Um,
I mean,
we'll get back to that.
the low hanging fruit here is that he probably plays Guitar Hero because
Yeah,
he's a
yeah,
musician, but
yeah.
but
I
he's not
my
not a
my
good
initial
one. So
instinct was gonna be Rock Band, and then I was like, no, that's can't do that.
I mean, I bet he likes those dirt bike games because he seems like a kind of guy that hangs out on dirt bikes.
I bet he just likes the like most obscure JRPGs. He's just like, oh
Probably.
yeah, I'm so into that hyperdimension Neptunia.
I could see it. I could see it. He gets off stage. He does his Kid Rock thing. He
He's
walks
like,
down. He
someone throw
grabs
me a
it.
Vita.
Yep. Someone throw me Vita. I'm about to play some Persona tonight.
Hmm.
Uh, or like, oh, Mr. Rock, what have you been doing on the tour bus? Well, I've been playing that Nino Cooney, so been keeping busy, staying out of the hookers and the blow.
Hmm.
So there. Speaking of Kid Rock, side note, since that's what we do. The Rolling Stones are playing a concert at Ohio Stadium, which
Hmm.
is the Ohio State football stadium in the capital of the state, and people are pissed because Kid Rock is opening for the Stones, and Kid Rock is very much a Detroit guy, and he loves the University of Michigan, and he's a big Michigan sports fan, and so people are pissed that he's going to be playing in Ohio Stadium, which is like a legendary
Yeah.
site. So there's that. It's pretty great. Fuck that guy. I'm sure Mr. Rock is a great person, and I'm
Kid
sure
Rock
he gets
is
down.
he's just another Guy Fieri. You're like, yeah, he's probably a terrible guy, but I have no reason to think that, and he could be really
Yeah,
nice and sweet.
he could be, but didn't he bang Pamela Anderson for a while or something?
Kid Rock or Guy Fieri?
No, not Guy Fieri.
Kid Rock, maybe. I don't know why I would know
I
that.
feel like I feel like she was just passed down from Tommy Lee to Kid Rock, but I
Yeah.
could be wrong about that. That was a long time ago. So, Matt, what video games have you been playing, man? It's been like 2 weeks since I talked to you.
Um, I've been playing some Donkey Kong Country just because why
Some
not? It
DK,
was
like on the Super Nintendo.
no on Game Boy.
Uh oh,
Yeah,
with
and
oh
but this I had a road trip where I went to Memphis, Tennessee, and I when I wasn't driving, I was playing my Game Boy.
is Donkey Kong Country actually Memphis, Tennessee?
Yes, that's
Oh,
where it's set.
I thought so. All those bees and
You know,
things.
Nashville in Tennessee is the capital of country music, but Memphis is the capital for Donkey Kong Country. See, there's a parallel
That's
there.
I mean, that's what I've heard. That's
Mhm,
what I've heard. It's yeah. So yeah, that's cool. Do some investigation down there
mhm.
to improve your DK skills.
What have you been playing,
Anything.
Brian?
Well, I reviewed Project Cars, so I had to force myself to play that for a while. I shouldn't say force because this is a fun
Yeah.
game, and I was really looking forward to it coming out, and I was super excited to review it. So I played that. Uh, I just bought The Witcher 2 days ago. So
You've been witching it up.
I've been witching it up. Although I'm a little behind. Everybody's talking about like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm level 17, I'm level 18. I'm like, guys, I'm level 3 now.
I mean, I
Um,
haven't even bought the game yet, so I'm a
yeah,
little bit
I
further behind.
yeah, but that's man, sometimes I feel like that's the way to do it because by the time if you wait a week after a game comes out,
There's
all
gonna
the
be a sale.
wikis on the internet are going to be perfect. There's probably going to be a sale after
Yeah.
like 7 or 8 days. And like you'll get one of those like PSN flash sales and buy the game for 99 cents like 24 hours after it comes out. So,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure since Dragon Age has come out, it's been on sale for like between like $30 and $40 at
hmm
least maybe 7 times between now and then. Like it just went on sale again. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
I'm not surprised by that. One of the way the industry works now has really got me thinking about how I buy video games because three games in particular have burned me pretty bad. I got Watch Dogs the week after it came out,
Hmm.
and I played it for like 2 hours, and then I haven't played it since.
Nice.
So I paid full price for that one. I bought Far Cry off Amazon about a month after it came out for like $10 off, but still now you can buy it for like 25. And then I bought Unity the day Unity
Oh,
came out, and I haven't. The cellophane is still on the case, and you can totally buy that game now for like $30.
yeah. At least you're buying physical copies so you can trade them back. I've just burned myself so many times buying digital because it's just so much more convenient. But then like I bought Destiny digital, and I'm not a Destiny super fan. Like
Mm,
I completed the game. I like went up a few extra levels past 20 or whatever, and I was like, this isn't for me. Like I don't want to just keep doing the same like raids and the Crucible just over and over again to get better stuff.
right.
Like I just like what's the end goal there? Just keep getting the best thing.
Dude, I don't know, man. When I my story for Destiny is, and I really hope this guy never hears this podcast, even though the odds of him hearing it are very, very slim. When I got into the alpha, the Destiny alpha,
Mhm.
and then I got into the Destiny beta, and I ran across the same guy twice. So I was like, I'm probably gonna buy this game. Like, let's be digital friends here.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
added him on PSN, and then we started following each other on Twitter, and we talked about it a little bit. And when Destiny actually came out, I was like, fuck this game. Like, fuck this game. And so I didn't buy it, but we're still friends on like Twitter and stuff. And for like, it's been, what, like 8, 9 months since that game came out.
Yeah.
And that's all he plays. I see it on Twitter every day. He has like a new screenshot of like
Hmm.
characters or equipment and all this stuff. And it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Hmm.
There's no way that this game is that deep. But he has his like
It's
crew of people, and then they just like run. Oh man, they just like run that shit.
now we're
I
gonna
don't
be
get it.
going off on a tangent about Destiny, but I was gonna say it's just because it's all the MMO elements, and most people who play Destiny were never exposed to those before. So it's
Mm,
super addicting. I remember because my first MMO was DC Universe Online, and I got
hmm
way into that game. And so I burned out all of my interest on MMOs on that. So when I picked up Destiny, I was just, nope, this isn't what I wanted. I don't
Yep.
want this anymore. Leave me alone.
Yep. That was the thing. I was like, oh, there's no real like single player campaign. Like there is, but not really. And it's just like I kind of honestly I think by being in both the alpha and the beta, I got my entire
Yeah.
Destiny fill. Because for the alpha, I played like 10 hours of it that weekend, and when same thing with the beta. And for me to play a game longer than 20 hours is pretty impressive. So I'd already gotten my like fill of 20 hours, and I was like, I'm done with this. Like, it's like Halo, but not as good.
Yeah.
So I'll pass. Maybe like if when they come out with like Destiny 2 Return of the Destiny, then
Destiny's
I'll go
Child.
and buy that. Yeah. Destiny 2, Peter Dinklage is back, but we taught him how to be a voice actor this time.
It's just Peter Dinklage like motion captured into the game.
That'd be pretty
He's,
cool.
he's like, I'm not a robot anymore. I've evolved.
I mean, yeah, that'd be I might buy the game if that were the case. I'm just trying to think of like catchy names for the second Destiny game.
Hmm.
Destiny 2. Now we have 5 maps.
Or Destiny. It was our or Destiny 2. It was our destiny.
Ah,
Mhm.
Dinklage 2. Return of the Destiny. I think they should just rebrand the
Dinklage,
series Dinklage.
Dinklage. The Dinklage returns.
It's like the Smurf. Dinklage, 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 Mr. Dinklage. I could see that. That
The
would be
cover
good.
is
I'd
just
buy that.
his face.
I
There's no
mean,
text.
what? Every gun is just his face, and it
Yeah.
shoots out smaller faces. In fact, every
Uh,
texture in the game is just a picture of Peter Dinklage. That'd be pretty cool. But he's your guardian. Oh no, you're the guardian. Well, I don't fuck. I
it's
don't know terminology for
or
Destiny.
no, it's like the unfinished swan, and the background is all white, and you just spray Peter Dinklage's face all over.
That'd be really cool. Did you ever play Infamous Second Son?
Yes, I did.
You know how you could do like the spray paint stuff?
Oh yeah.
It's just going to turn into a graffiti game where you run around and paint pictures of Peter Dinklage.
Just in various poses and attire.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
Speaking of tires, Project
Uh,
Cars is a game.
uh, hey, wait, actually, time out. Before you finish that pun, I wasn't kidding about the butt falling asleep thing, so I got to
Yes.
readjust real quick. So hang on. Oh, here we go.
Brian's readjusting while he's doing that. We also just remembered our irrelevant news of this episode.
Yes. All
And
right, I'm back.
so, guess who released some brand new screenshots of their hot new 2015 game?
I was going to say Need for Speed, but I already know the answer, so it's clearly not Need for Speed.
That's right, Brian. It's Madden. And
It's Madden.
why? Why, Brian?
Why do they do this?
Yeah.
Do you want me to tell you? Did you grow up? Did you buy sports games like the
I did.
annualized
We
sports?
talked about this. I bought
Yeah.
annualized sports games for like every year until a few years ago.
Right. So I mean, you know why they did it.
I mean, I
But
do.
the real question is why did they do it?
Yes.
Why do they do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so every year, I mean, they're just, hey, look how much better it's gotten, and now it's to the point where it just looks exactly the same as Madden 15.
It really does. I mean, they put some polish.
Yeah.
I'm sure the jerseys look like 2% better, or like the lighting is now
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, check
I
out
don't
our
know,
new dynamic lighting effects.
like that's the thing with Madden specifically. Like all EA Sports franchises are like this, but with Madden specifically, it's like they ran out of things to improve upon. So like, yeah, the player models are pretty perfect, but we're gonna bring you dynamic lighting, and now the grass moves. Like individual blades of grass will be moving.
Yeah, it's like, why don't you work on some game modes and features to make it more interesting instead of that?
It's like, hey, your Madden 15 career mode is still fucked up. So how about you fix that for 16? No,
No,
we
look
got
at
all
the way the
new
grass
jerseys.
moves.
Last year there were 1,272 little holes on all these jerseys. This year there's 1,723. Fuck you, you'll buy it.
Every year.
Did you ever see? Did you? There's an episode of South Park, or is Cartman have the line like, "Fuck you guys, you bought the ticket. Fuck you guys." It's basically that every year. Madden just gives like a huge one finger salute to everyone who buys this game.
They're
And
like, "We
there's
don't
stuff
care."
always broken. There's stuff always broken.
Mhm.
I don't know why any Madden player buys the game the week of. Like
Yeah.
I bought Madden 15, but I bought it in like October.
Yeah.
You know, like I skipped like it was still kind of rough when I got it. But the game was great. I will say that. The game was great, but it still had some rough patches. But any sports game from EA Sports, just do yourself a favor and don't buy it the day it comes out, because it's going to be terrible and the servers probably won't work. So
Nope. And you're gonna have to connect to them to even play the game.
to get anything, yeah. It's not like they don't make games like they used to make them, Matt Batson.
Nope. Darn tootin'.
Darn tootin'. That's a Minnesotan thing. During Tootin.
Guaranteed.
Yep. Uh, but no, I will say Madden screenshots don't get me too excited. But last year when NHL 15 screenshots came out, I got a little stoked because I really enjoy the NHL series
You're part of the
because I like
problem,
hockey.
Brian.
I'm actually missing the Rangers game to do this
You are.
podcast. So
I'm really sorry. Last night I
that's
I'm
okay.
not a huge hockey fan, but I watched the end of the Blackhawks and
You watched
Ducks game.
the double OT game.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting.
It's pretty
I
big time. That was a good
my
one.
my problem is we're getting super sidetracked, but my problem is there was a time where I was getting super into hockey. I was starting to get super interested. I was playing all the NHL games. I went to a few Thrashers games and everything. And then the Atlanta Thrashers moved to Canada, and I was like, "Well, what do I have now? Nothing." And then hockey stopped there for me. And I kind of want to get back into it, but I have no idea who to root for.
I can answer that question. You should
Answer
root
it.
for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Columbus Blue Jackets. There we go.
Yeah, they're pretty much the best. And they need all the fans they can get. And now that you've lost your Thrashers,
Hmm.
don't you could be I mean you could be a Winnipeg Jets fan since they're the Thrashers organization.
Yeah, I thought about it, but it's kind of a bitter thing because it is a part of the organization, but they left me.
I know it's true.
Yeah,
To go to Canada of all
yeah.
places.
It's like that ex you still have feelings for. That's the Winnipeg Jets.
Is it?
Yep,
Man, I'm having problems right now.
I can see that.
My
Brian
right
is
leg
holding his microphone in his hand right now.
my right leg is so asleep. I had to lean back against my couch so I could prop my leg up. Now I'm just chilling doing this podcast at this point.
Let's
'Cause
take a quick commercial break while Brian gets adjusted.
There's no need for that. We don't need.
Roll the clip.
Oh man, it's so bad. I can't feel my right leg. Oh, it's terrible. It's okay. All right, go ahead and let's end this suffering. So,
Yeah.
ask me some questions about Project Cars.
So Project Cars, it seems like a project that's taken a while to get
Mm,
out. See what I did there?
mhm.
So what are your general thoughts on the game?
Well, my general thoughts on the game, man. I don't know if I have any general thoughts on the game because I have very specific critiques of the game. It's fun. I guess my general impression would be that it's a fun
It's fun.
game, and if you like racing games, then you're gonna like this game. But if you like certain kinds of racing games, you're probably gonna hate this game. It's Project Cars is like it's put together really well, and the whole project. Damn it, I don't want to use the word project. The whole thing, it came together in a cool way. The way it started with the Kickstarter, and then they got all this like community feedback while they were creating the game. And people had early access and all that kind of stuff. So it's a good game, and like I really enjoyed playing it. But it's kind of stuck in this bastardized land where it's too simulation. It's like a simulation past Gran Turismo and Forza,
Oh wow.
but it's not simulation enough to like compete with the top PC simulation games. So like it doesn't if I were a casual racing fan and like I just played Need for Speed, for example,
Hmm.
I would probably not enjoy this game. And if I was someone who actually knew a ton about racing cars and like even was someone who raced
Just
cars,
a car
I
guy.
would yeah, if I was like a super car guy, then I would enjoy this game, but I would know that there's something probably better out there. And I'm thinking of one game in particular, but I can't remember its name. So, but there's one game, and I like after I wrote my review and everything, I went to a bunch of forums just to see what other people thought, and
Hmm.
that's one thing that came up a bunch. Is people are saying like, yeah, it's really fun, it's a good game, but it's not this game.
It's just like in
You
this
know,
middle ground
right?
between super simulation racing games and just
And the arcade,
yeah.
yeah. And so I don't know. But that's the thing. I mean, I bought it the day it came out, obviously, to do the review and everything, and I'll continue playing it. It's just the thing that holds it back from the casual gamer is that it's almost impossible to just jump into a race and just have fun.
Mhm.
You have to take the time. It took so it was me and my best friend back home. We kind of like tag teamed doing the settings and everything. It was mostly him actually. He put in a lot of work just running laps in free practice to get like the game's universal settings down, like the settings that apply to all the cars. Um, and so he took like 5 to 6 hours just to do that. And like that's a big investment just to say like I'm not racing, I'm just doing practice to make sure that all these
All
cars
the
feel
settings,
okay.
right?
You're right. And there was a huge because I wanted to see after he did it, I wrote everything down so I know what he did. And then I went back and then put them all on default just to see the difference like within the 10-minute span of all of his settings versus like the default out of the box. And it's night and day. And it's really hard to do those default settings. And I know a lot of people out there aren't like, huge settings people. And so that was kind of a problem. And then, but once you get past that, then you have the second layer of settings where now you need to do a car's individual tuning settings for each track. Because if you want to be competitive, you have to do that. Of course, you could just play on lower difficulty, and then you don't really have to do that, which I guess is an option in pretty much any game. Um, and so like that was fine. Like the way the AI works is that you have a level from 1 to 100 and 10-point increments. So you could put the difficulty at 10 or you could put it at 80. And so when we were playing, we did like 30 or 40 races online, just the two of us, and we had the AI at 80, and it presented like a pretty good challenge. But we had spent so much time not only on those universal settings, but also on like each car's settings at like specific tracks. We only did races at like 3 tracks online because those were the ones that we like hammered down on. But that's the kind of investment it is. This feels like a racing game that you're going to play for like 5 hours and be like, well, that was fun. Or you're going to play it for like 200 because you put so much
Right.
time into it.
Back to like with the settings and stuff, is there some sort of like tutorial mode or guide in the game to help you figure out all of that stuff, or does it just kind of throw you to the wolves and let you like
Yeah,
tune
I mean,
after every race?
it goes the Gran Turismo route where it has descriptions, and the
Mhm.
descriptions are pretty good. It has descriptions of what everything does. So I think in my review, I mentioned 3 settings in particular that are important to do, and that's steering ratio, tire pressure, and gear ratio. And when you look to see those settings, it'll tell you what each one does. So like if you go to tire pressure, which I think is the single most important, um, just right off the gate, it'll tell you like, hey, if you wanna fix, understeer in a car, you need to decrease the back tire pressure. If you wanna like if you're having oversteer problems and you wanna do the opposite, and uh, and so that kind of stuff like it's helpful in that way. Like it'll give you a description of what to do, but at some point, it's just the game like surpasses that. So even though it's giving you these settings,
Mhm.
you have to kind of like read into these things to really get it because there's so many settings, which is great. Like that's the simulation part is that you can adjust, everything a mechanic can do to a car during a race weekend, you can do to yours in this game, and that's great. But then you need to know what all those things do. Um, or you can just ignore it all, I guess, and just put the AI on like 0, just spin out every turn and still
Yeah,
leave by
so
like 50 seconds.
so how like when the difficulties download, can just anyone just kind of go in like not use the brakes and just kind of get first place, or is this still sticking
It's
to
still
simulation
it
vibe when you have it down low?
yeah, right. It still presents a challenge. You can't just race like
Like
a
a
5-year-old would
kart
drive a
racer.
car. Right. And so you have to get out there and like, you have to learn your brake lines and do all that stuff but the game has a really good driving line if you have that on, which I did at most tracks for the first like 5 or 10 races. And so like you have to do that or the AI is going to beat you, but the difference in lap time between AI being at like 10 and AI being at 80 is a handful of seconds. And so you know uh, you're afforded a lot more of allowance. Like if you screw up a turn when AI is at 10, you're probably going to catch up and pass people again. But at 80, if you screw up and you drop back to like 10th place, you're probably not going to get back in the top 3.
With all of its sort of realistic qualities and features, in the game, are you buying car insurance at all, or using your seatbelt?
Yeah,
what
well,
car insurance options are given to you in Project Cars?
you got to save your 15% of your car insurance by
Right,
switching to
right.
Geico
Shout
right
out to
off the bat.
Geico.
Yeah, sponsors of this here podcast. Um, no, there's not honestly a whole lot. One of the cool things about the game is that the cockpit view is amazing,
Hmm.
and I think it would be really cool if like most racing games, when you go to start the race, you jump right into the car and you're driving. Like you're either at the starting line or it's like a rolling start and your car's moving, but you're in the car. I think it'd be really cool for one of these games to get in and shows like you as a driver like getting in and buckling down, putting on your helmet and all this stuff. Uh, but they don't do that. There's no seat belts that I know of. So theoretically, you could crash and just fly out that windshield, and Geico's not going to do shit for you because you're dead.
Project Cars sounds like a very violent game. Do
You
you?
actually there's the texting and driving mode where
Oh
your
boy.
screen just you just look down. There's the what I call the southern driver, which is where you have your left hand holding your cigarette out the window and your right hand on your cell phone, and then
Mhm.
you're steering with your knees.
You're
Um,
also just like eating a taco at the same time. No hands.
exactly. You're doing a lot of things. It's true simulation, take it to the streets kind of
Hmm.
thing. So you got to practice somewhere, man, because you don't want to jump in real life trying
Do
that
you
shit for the first time.
do you think this is such a simulation racer that they're going to introduce it into driving schools and let teenagers play this before they get on the roads?
That'd be amazing, because I remember when I was taking driver's ed in high school, the program that we had was so terrible. I think it had like a copyright 1996 on it.
Hmm.
So that's pretty old because I was taking this class in 2007, so it's an 11-year-old program. And the cars looked at like they were out of the 80s, so it's probably a program made in the 90s with footage from the 80s. Yeah, it'd be really cool if they did this. This would be terrible for like teaching teenagers how to drive, but Project Cars they have a thing set up with I don't know what kind of car. I think he's a GT3 driver, but he's like one of the spokesmen for the brand, and he says that he uses Project Cars to familiarize himself with tracks that he can't
Mm.
physically get to. Um, so whether it's like 2 weeks in advance for some race that's coming up, or I don't know how driving like professional shit works, but
Right.
like if this guy's just sitting in a hotel room in California and he wants to race at Monaco to see what Monaco's track is like,
He's
and there
like,
you
oh
go, you
yes,
pop in some Project
there's a
Cars.
left turn after this right turn.
Exactly. They've got it all mapped out. Speaking of which, speaking of mapped out, one of the things that I really hated with Project Cars is that there's no overhead like map. It doesn't show like the whole race course and one of
Oh.
the corners. It's like a little specter that follows like 300 yards in front and behind you. So
Mhm.
you can see what's coming up, but you can't see yourself on the entire track unless I missed that in the HUD settings, which I might have done. But that's
You'll find
useful
out
in racing.
eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the simulation that you have to memorize these things.
Yeah.
The first time I turned off the driving line, I almost pooped my pants though,
Why?
just because you don't realize how much you rely on those little dots on the
Uh-huh.
track saying, "Hey, you should probably brake now," until you take it off, and then you're just like, "I don't know what I'm doing."
Yeah.
So,
That makes sense.
hmm
But speaking of tracks, some more. Uh, how diverse and how many tracks were there?
so I think there are at least 30 locations. I think it might be like 32 specifically. So let's just say 30. There are like 30 locations, and then each location has two, three, four different circuits on it.
Hmm.
So like Watkins Glen is one of my favorite racetracks in North America, and so it has two versions. Same with Laguna Seca, it has two versions, and then you have oh gosh, some of these like British tracks or any of the European tracks have like three or four different variations, and so you end up with over 100 different circuits at 30 different places.
But what about like diversity with them? Are they all like you have the circuit options and then you just have your normal tracks, and do they all feel the same or?
You mean like circuit to circuit, or like how
Yeah.
do the locations vary?
Sure.
Like scenery wise? What are you talking about?
Wait, what?
Rephrase this question. What are you talking about? Like how do the different like
Let's.
track locations
Yes.
vary?
Yes.
I mean, how does the world
Yes.
vary from itself? You know, how
That's
is
true. 'Cause
like
these are real tracks.
these are real tracks,
They're
yeah.
real tracks. So if
I
you
mean,
want to
you feel
know
it. You
how different the tracks are, you just have to look at them.
yeah. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah.
covers it.
I'm still not 100% sure what the question was there, but
We'll go with it.
I'm gonna George Bush it up and just say, yeah, totally, man.
Yeah. Are you talking about George Bush or George W. Bush?
W. Sorry.
Okay. You know what the W
Yeah.
stands for, right?
What a fucking badass.
No, the W stands for freedom. Freedom,
That's
bro.
right. Do you know what the L in Samuel L. Jackson stands for?
No, I don't.
Motherfuckers.
All right. I'm gonna take that one. You can take the freedom one.
That's fair. That's a good exchange of information.
That is a very good exchange. Um, how do you drive?
I drive like I have a turd that's literally poking out, and I need to get home quickly. Um, Total disregard of physics.
Uh, does this translate well to the game? Do you feel like you're driving about the same way?
Yeah, I mean, it worked out well. I won a fair amount of races. So the best part was when the art would imitate life, and I would pretend that like I had to actually take a poop while I was playing the game, and that's how I drove.
Right.
When in reality, I also had to take a poop, and I was just waiting until after the race was over. So that usually worked out pretty well.
And then you're actually driving in your car while streaming from your Vita, your streaming Project Cars. So you're driving while you're
Yes.
driving, and then you
Yep.
actually need to poop. So in the game you're
Yep.
driving like you need to poop while you're driving like you need to poop.
Exactly. You just put
Game
the
of the
pedal to the
year.
metal, man. Oh, I think we're having technical difficulties.
Are we? I don't. Hello?
Do you remember?
Hello?
Do you remember when? I can't hear you.
Ah!
All right, you're back now.
I am?
I'll have to cut all that out. Yeah, you're
Okay.
good. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. I
Can you
heard
hear
you the
me?
whole time.
Okay. You sounded like a robot.
Brian, it's been a long time coming.
Yep.
This is episode 11 now.
No.
Time to reveal it.
Oh, this is 12.
This is 12. It's
Oh
episode
God.
12 now. Time to reveal it. It's past time. An episode past time to reveal it. I am a robot. I am a robot sent
my
from the
God.
future to do this podcast.
If I would have known that this whole time, I would have been asking you cool robot questions like, do you have to like poop and stuff?
No, I don't.
How do you drive? How does a robot drive?
I plug
Wait,
myself.
wait. I want to know, since you're a robot and you're all knowing, what does the fox say?
It usually doesn't talk. It doesn't know English or any other languages for that matter.
Well, that's disappointing.
I'm sorry, but
That's very wise of you, Mr. Robot.
that's what they call me.
Do you have to lube yourself up with robot oil?
For what? Just to move?
Yeah, you're like the Tin Man from the Wizard of
Yeah.
Oz. You don't want to like dry up and stuff.
I just use baby lotion. It works the same.
So you're a baby robot?
Relatively.
Do robots have long lifespans?
Depends on the brand of robot.
Oh, were you made by Honda?
No, actually, Twizzlers. They got into the robot building business around, I believe it was.
God damn, are you from the future too?
Yes, I thought I stated that. I'm so sorry. Twizzlers in 2024 they announced that they were going to stop making their candy and enter into the uh, robot building business. And I was one of the original prototypes,
What
optimized
you're
for
saying is
con travel.
you're not the best robot. You're one of
No,
the prototypes.
yeah, that's why
Hmm.
I can't go back to the future.
So you're just stuck here doing this podcast.
Yep, for the rest of my days.
Have you met the Terminator yet?
Nope, not yet. Don't like being reminded, Brian.
I'm sorry. I know that's probably a dark page on your people's history.
You know, they just look at us and they think we're all the same, Brian. They just look at us and they see him. I don't
They
even
see
wear
Arnold.
sunglasses. I don't even wear 'em.
Do you know how to ride a motorcycle?
Okay, yes, I know how to ride a motorcycle.
Okay, so you're basically the fucking Terminator, man. That's the only prerequisite. Do you know how to ride a
So,
motorcycle? Or are you a robot? You're the
speaking of
Terminator.
motorcycles, any bikes in Project Cars, or is this only cars? Is that what about the project?
I mean, I think you just answered your own question. They're they're only cars and project cars.
Any
Um,
trucks?
no bikes.
Any all-terrain
No truck.
vehicles?
Here, this is a fun conversation. Is a truck a kind of car?
No, a truck is a kind of automobile.
It is, but can it not count as a car as well?
No. Let's say no.
Why not? What do you think about that?
It's too tall.
So you can't be a tall car.
No,
So if
cars
they
can't
made
be
like
tall.
if they made like an 8 foot tall car, it's not a car
Where's
anymore.
the height coming from?
The tires.
Then it's a mini monster truck.
So it's a truck.
Yes. That is when a car becomes a truck.
Wait, so what about lowrider trucks? Are they cars?
Yeah, let's say they're cars.
So it's just a height thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there are no lowrider trucks in this game, unfortunately. In fact, speaking of the Cars roster, it's pretty fucking small
Mm.
compared to other games. But I mean, it was enough that I was satisfied with the variety.
Right.
I mean, you have like 10 different classes of cars, and then each class like behaves significantly different than other classes. And then within those classes, you have like 4 or 5 cars to choose from, and so you get a good variety of stuff to drive. I know there are people that are disappointed that there aren't like
A
all those
million
Fast and
brands.
Furious fans are like, oh, there's no fucking Nissan Skyline. What is this shit? So everybody just wants to drive a Nissan Skyline, apparently.
Everybody does. Go play
I
Forza
mean, I kind of understood
Horizon
it.
DLC. You you
Yeah,
you posers.
I don't think the Skyline was in that. I think the Supra from the first movie
Yeah.
was in that DLC, but I don't think the Skyline was.
They should be more
That
disappointed
was my
with
dream
that.
car growing up, man. Yeah, I used to have like a little model of the Nissan Skyline. Oh
There was a
man,
time in
here's
my life I was never a car person, but I would just build model cars. And so that's where
yeah.
my dream car came from. It was a Dodge Viper. It was solid
Mm.
white with blue racing stripes.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fancy.
Yeah.
That'd be tough to keep that thing clean.
Yes, it would.
White cars, man. Woof. Whew.
No, thank you.
I don't know if I could ever own a white car.
Just completely covered in bird poop all the time. Like, yep, still white.
Just shit. Still white. Well, I mean, there's a little bit of color in that white
Yeah,
bird
just
poop.
a tiny bit.
Speaking of things you can do from inside the car in Project Cars, you can you can turn on and off your headlights, and you can also turn on and off your windshield wipers,
Is
which is
there?
very important to do when you're
Yeah, does
driving
it
in the
have like
cockpit.
the? Does it have like different weather settings so you can drive in the rain?
Yes, the weather settings are actually pretty good. I've heard they're not as good as Drive Club, even though I didn't play Drive Club, so I
Hmm.
don't know how to compare it to that. But the rain, when you set it on like a full thunderstorm, it is fucking terrifying to drive.
Hmm.
You can see okay, but the car's behavior is so like jacked up, even with like rain tires on. But when you're in the cockpit view and you're in thunderstorm and everything's dark and it's just like, man, it's tough. It's fun, but it's tough. Nobody should ever race in those conditions, is what I'm saying. But
Can there
then
be
there are
like
multiple. So you,
can there be like a tornado and it's just messing you all up, picks you up off the track?
does it take you to Oz?
That would be interesting. And you have to
I mean,
drift along the yellow brick road.
oh, now that is an idea. Wizard of Oz racing? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You could race like you'd have a race against the flying monkeys.
Hmm. Ooh.
That'd be pretty damn cool.
And they're just trying to like rip you apart.
That's probably honestly, that's probably what the next Need for Speed game is gonna be. I can see it. Need for
I'd
Speed,
probably buy that.
Oz, Shift, Oz, Shift, Underground,
Oz Shift Underground.
Unleashed.
Underground and undercover and unleashed.
Yes. Oh God. Yeah. Do you have any more questions about Project Cars?
Um,
We didn't talk about
this
career mode. We didn't really talk about the racing
I
itself
was I
much.
was going to
Uh,
ask I was going to ask about like the different game modes and whatnot, but I wasn't sure with it being super simulation if there was a lot to offer there. Did
I'll
you
just
feel
sum up everything real quick.
satisfied? Did you feel satisfied with the game modes?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah,
Oh
sure.
wow,
That's a
can you
box
hear?
quote.
Yeah, yeah, sure. It's okay. Um, by the way, wow, can you hear the
I
sirens
can
outside?
hear. I can hear them.
Oh
Just
man, that's terrifyingly loud. We have our windows
fun
closed and it's that loud.
fun fact, last night, even though these are different kind of sirens, uh, the store that I work at next to it, the store next to the store I work at was being robbed, and
Oh shit.
yeah, and then this was like around when we were closing, so we were all just kind of watching. And then when I was going to leave, the police had like everyone in handcuffs on the curb right next to my car. And I just kind of walked up.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I just kind of like walked up slowly, and they're all just kind of like sitting there. And then like there's one police officer, and he just kind of like just gives me a smile and a wave, and I'm like, I'm gonna go now. I'm not stealing anything.
Oh man. That's intense. I've never experienced anything like that ever before. Huh. So was there like clearance to get your car out of there, or did you like run over one of these guys to get out?
No, they were like off to the side, so not directly in front of me. So I just kind of just
Oh, I
drove
see.
away.
Did you like politely smile and wave to them too?
No, I
Like
just
what do you
kind of
do?
like
What do you do to someone who just
it
got
was
arrested?
Yeah, it was a super awkward situation. Like I just kind of like walked up and I was just kind of like looking at them, and they didn't really notice me until like I like unlocked my car. But I was just kind of like looking at them, and they were just like sitting there, heads down, like, "Oh man, didn't do a great job."
Mm,
And then,
yeah,
yeah,
they really fucked that up. Don't rob stores. That's probably a pretty
that's the
good
moral of the
idea to
story.
have in life. Yeah, you should have gone like full like Dog the Bounty Hunter and be like, "You need cracks, brah? You want smoke, brah?" That's
Uh,
the South Park version of Dog the Bounty
I've talked
Hunter, I
about
should
it.
add. Okay, I'm gonna give myself 60 seconds. I'm gonna talk about the
60
rest of
seconds.
Project Cars, and we're gonna move on. All right, here we go. So the rest of Project Cars, the racing on the track's pretty cool. The AI is pretty good. Braking the turns, it's all right. All the car settings are good. You can do pretty much anything you want. If you're having problems with your car, you can probably fix it.
Anything you can
Uh,
fly.
anything. Yeah, it's like that R. Kelly song.
Mhm.
I believe I can play. So career mode. There's a career mode. It's pretty shallow. All you do is race. You have an inbox where you get emails from your team owner and like a racing engineer, and he'll tell you things that you should do to your car, except he doesn't actually tell you anything you should do to your car, so you don't actually ever get any positive input from anyone
He's
other
just
than
like,
your owner say, "Hey, good job," or "Hey, you really fucked that race up."
he's just like, hey, check out this cat video my daughter sent me. Pretty awesome, right?
That would be
Just-
pretty cool, actually. I
You
would
just
totally
start
watch cat videos on
you
Project
just
Cars.
you just start getting chain mail from him like forward this message to 15 people or
Or you'll die.
you'll die by the ghost of Becky Gunderson, who died one night in Kentucky because she didn't forward the emails.
That's totally how those things go too. Fuck those emails. I haven't got one of those in a while. Okay, I'm giving
Yeah.
myself 10 more seconds. So you advance through these tiers of racing by winning races and stuff, and then you get new contracts. And then you get to race Formula One cars, which is up. Done. The game's good. Just go play it if you like racing games.
There you have it. Don't drive in real
Yeah, that's
life.
pretty much it.
Drive in Project Cars.
Yeah, I mean, or you could just go buy a car and just drive it around, but not that
Make
fast.
your own
Just
project.
pretend that just get on the interstate and pretend you have to poop and go 5 miles an hour over the speed limit like most people do. And that's what Project Cars feels like.
All right.
Mhm.
Couldn't have said it better myself because I haven't played the game.
No, you could. Yep. You should play it. You shouldn't play it. I don't think you'd like it.
I don't know. I've been out of racing games for a while. I'm definitely more of an arcade racer kind of guy. Like Burnout Paradise is probably my favorite racing game. But
Yeah, well, that's legendary.
but I have a long history with Gran Turismo. I used to be like super into 3 and 4, and then kind of just stopped with 5 and 6. Did 6 come out? I remember that was a weird thing that they just kind of
Yes.
stopped release.
6 came out. Yeah, it came out, but it's like to no acclaim at all. Nobody really talked about it. There's no like big PR stuff for it. Yeah, there's a big push for 5. I remember playing 5, and that was a big deal at the time. But 6 was very quiet.
So yeah, I might give Project Cars
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
a shot,
yeah,
like during a sale or something.
yeah, yeah. If it's ever super cheap or anything, then it's the way to go. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Project Cars, good times.
Put it in your console.
Or I mean, actually, I think the best way to play Project Cars is probably on a PC.
Download it to
Yeah, so if
your
you ever
computer from the cloud.
look for it on that Humble bundle.
Skynet.
God damn it, Terminator, man. Chill the fuck out. That's terrible.
So yeah,
This
let's
is
wrap
terrible.
this. Let's wrap this bad boy up.
Yeah, let's get out of here. We were gonna talk about The Witcher a little bit because I bought that and have been playing it, but let's just save all those questions for next week. We'll have Courtney swinging by to talk about that, and he's doing the review, and he's played like a lot of The Witcher. Like I'm talking about like a fucking lot of The Witcher.
Like he's like addicted to it. Like this is,
Yeah.
if anyone's familiar with how his addiction was for Dragon Age, this is at least twice as bad. And that one was already super addicting.
Yep. So we'll just talk about it then. The Witcher is really good though, I will say. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. I was starting to say sentence, and then it just kind of slipped down to there. I'm rusty, man. Rusty. Took a week off, and now I don't know who I am. And now I found out that you're a robot, and
falling
my
apart.
legs are still falling asleep.
Maybe I should have waited.
Weird podcast. Yeah, you probably should wait until. I mean, you gotta wait until like the 14th podcast at least.
Man, they did not prepare me for the past.
Yeah, that's true. They really fucked up. Well, it's because you're one of the first.
One of the first. I'm the
old Twizzlers.
Pioneer. I'm a pioneer of the
Do you-
Twizzler robots.
Do they make the Twizzler? Well, so they stopped making the Twizzlers, right?
Right.
And what year does this happen?
I believe this was 2024.
All right. Well, I'm gonna kill myself in 2023 then, so we don't have to worry about that.
All right.
All right. Well, you should
Till
everybody should come
then,
back next week.
till
Listen
then,
listen
yeah,
to
come listen to the show with Courtney, and he's talking about The
listen to
Witcher.
Matt. Yeah, Matt's gonna talk about being a robot some more, and Courtney's gonna
Yeah,
talk about The Witcher, which doesn't have any robots in it that I know of yet.
yeah.
Um,
We'll find out.
and then yeah, you can send Matt some emails asking him robot questions if you want.
And you can do that by sending them to contact.mong@gmail.com.
Totally, that's the one.
Yeah. Or if you don't feel
I'm just
like
gonna yeah.
going to your email, you could go to the Middle of Nowhere Gaming Twitter account at mong.com, all spelled out. You can tweet some questions about me being a robot there. Or you can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/Mong Network, and just pick a video, comment on it, ask me why I'm a robot or something like that. You can also find us on the
Mm.
Fossbook and the Tumblrs and the Instagrams. And we got stuff there too. I don't know if I'm a robot on any of those. You can also check out our website, middleofnowheregaming.com, for all of the latest editorials, news, and reviews, like Brian's Project Car reviews, where he makes a very good joke by saying that this game is not for Sunday drivers, as in both casual racing
Oh,
fans and people who drive on Sundays. I forgot I was going to mention that joke because I
yes.
liked it a lot.
Anyone who drives a car on a Sunday is not
Yeah.
allowed to play this game. No, Sunday drivers, that was like my least favorite. You play Gran Turismo. That was like the worst category was the Sunday Cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck that shit. You get to like a Mini Cooper that goes like 80 miles an hour. No me gusta.
We also have Twitter.
Are there any other ways to contact us?
You can ask Brian his thoughts on me being a robot by following him at El Padrioso, or you can ask me myself, though it'll take a while for me to process your tweet and then come up with a reply to that, because I'm a robot and everything I do is processing and math and algorithms.
Do you not get like instant notifications since you're a robot?
I'm an algorithm, Brian. You do the math.
Oh, oh, oh! God damn it, man! That was pretty good. That was pretty good. I think I'm gonna create a Twitter account. Also, we might want to add this in the show. I'm gonna create a Twitter account. It's called "Is Brian's Butt Asleep?" as we speak. And right now,
every so often, you'll just tweet yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'll just be at "Is Brian's butt asleep?" and you just follow it, and it'll show up in your feed. It'll just say yes, and you just look at it and you're like, oh, okay.
We really need some like a rug or like some carpet. Sitting on hardwood floor is just a terrible idea.
Oh no.
Just terrible. Just terrible. All right. Well, I'm gonna try to stand up and see if I can do that without falling over. But Matt Batson, I hope that you feel better. It's weird that a robot can get sick, man. You guys are high tech.
It's a virus.
Oh, it all makes sense now. It all makes sense now. All right. Well, until next week, come back, listen to us talk about The Witcher, because we're going to be super in depth, because Matt Batson's going to go buy it and play it all in a week, because I'm telling him to do that right now. And then Courtney will talk about it, and I'll talk about it. We'll have a big roundtable discussion.
I was planning on that episode convincing me to buy it, but who knows? Maybe I'll go and buy before that.
That'd be good, because then we could talk about some things. We could talk about some things, man.
Talk about it.
Yeah, you don't want to have the odd man out. Usually I'm the odd man out. You would be the odd man out this time.
I'll be like, how many witches are in the game?
That's a valid question. You can find out the answer next week. Matt Batson, I'll talk to you later.
I'll talk to you later, Brian, and I'll talk to you, sweet, sweet listener, next week.